Today we are going to see about the CPU scheduling problem. First we have a problem like process, bus time, arrival time and then priority. In this process we will be having 5 process, and in the bus time, that is execution time, we will be having 5 execution time for the corresponding process, and we will be having the arrival time, and then we will be having the priority. For this we have to solve FCFS, that is first come first serve. First come first serve will be undergoing a non-preemptive scheduling. Non-preemptive scheduling. In the case of non-preemptive scheduling, the execution would not be disturbed, that is known as non-preemptive scheduling. We are not going to break the execution in the case of non-preemptive scheduling. First we are going to draw the Gantt chart. Gantt chart. First it starts with 0. For first, in the case of FCFS, that is first come first serve, the first came process, that is P1, is going to be executed in the processor. So P1 is going for execution. It is a non-interruptible execution. So it is going to complete its execution time, that is 10 millisecond at a stage. Okay. 10, and then again the process P2 will be entering. The execution time, that is the bus time of the process P2 is 1. So I are going to add 10 plus 1. So because in the processor currently we will be at a stage 10th millisecond. So we are going to add 10 plus 1, that is the execution time of process P2, that is 11. Next you are going to have P3. P3 that is going to be entering into the processor, and it is having the execution time 2. So we will be having the current execution is 11. So we are going to add 11 plus 2, that is 13. Next processor P4 will be entering. Process P4 will be entering into the processor. Already we will be having the current execution time is 13. Next we are going to add 1 to this. So the execution time is 14 after completing the process P5. Next process P5 is going to be entered. It is the last process. It is having the execution time is 5. So we are going to add 14 plus 5, that is 19. Okay, next we are going to calculate the completion time. Completion time of the process. Completion time, that is CT. CT for P1 completion time is, this is the completion time, that is 10. And for P2 11, P3 13, P4 14, P5 19. The completion time of the process is being achieved. Next you are going to calculate average TT, that is turnaround time. What is the formula for this TT is CT minus AT, that is completion time minus arrival time. Already arrival time has been given. In the case of FCFS, you won't see these arrival time. Okay, because it is a non-preemptive scheduling, but in the case of you are calculating the turnaround time and the waiting time, you must have a subtraction with the case of your CT. So CT minus AT for P1 is, that is CT, that is completion time of process P1 minus its arrival time, 10 minus 0, that is 10. Next for P2 will be having the completion time as 11 and the arrival time as 1. So 11 minus 1, that is 10. Plus next completion time of process P3 is 13 and arrival time is 2. Next we will be having 11 plus P4 14 and the arrival time is 1. So after subtracting we will be getting 13 plus, and completion time of process P5 is 19. Arrival time is 2. So after subtracting 19 minus 2, we will be getting 17 divided by 5. Because we will be having 5 process, we are going to have an average for this 5 process. So divided by 5. Okay, we will be getting 12.2 millisecond. Next we are going to calculate the average waiting time. Next we are going to calculate the average waiting time. WT. What is the formula for this waiting time is turnaround time minus bus time. Okay, turnaround time minus bus time. Turnaround time means This is the turnaround time. What is the turnaround time of process P1 10, P2 10, and then P3 11, P4 13, P5 17. So TT minus BT. BT means bus time. So you are going to subtract 10 minus 10, that is 0 for process P1, plus 10 minus 1, that is 9, plus 11 minus 2, that is 9, and then 13 minus 1, that is 12, and then 17 minus 5, 12. We will be having 5 process, so divided by 5. After manipulating this, we will be getting 8.4 milliseconds. So this FCFS non-preemptive scheduling has been calculated. We have been calculated the CT and then TT and then WT. Next we are going to see about round robin. Round robin, it is shortly we are telling it as RR. It is purely based upon preemptive. It is purely based upon preemptive scheduling. It doesn't undergo a non-preemptive scheduling. It is just quite opposite for FCFS. And we are having a quantum time equal to 2 milliseconds. For every 2 milliseconds, it has to cut the execution. Okay, for this same problem, we are going to solve the round robin. First, we are going to draw the Gantt chart. That is first 0. At the arrival time 0, process P1 will be entering. What is the quantum time? 2. So it is going to cut the execution for every 2 to 2 milliseconds in the processor. So P1 will be entering. It executes for 2 milliseconds. Next it is going to cut the process P1. Again P2 will going to be entered there. Because the execution time, that is bus time of the process P2 is only 1. So it is going to execute only 1 millisecond in the processor. After that, at that second quantum time, the next process P3 is going to be arrived. So P3 works for 2 milliseconds. Next it is going to work for 2 milliseconds, 5. Next, after completing the second millisecond, it cuts the execution. Next, the process P4, most likely the process P3 will be having only the bus time 2. So it completes the execution in the 2 millisecond slot. Next, the process P4 will be entering and it is going to execute only 1 millisecond because the bus time of this process P4 is 1. So it is going to finish its execution before its allocated time, that is 2 millisecond. So P4 is going to work for 1 millisecond, that is 6. Next, after that P5 is going to be entered. It is having the bus time as 5. So it is going to execute for 2 millisecond, that is 8. Next, after this, one cycle of completion, one cycle of execution is being completed. Next, you are going for the next round, that is P1. P1 is having the remaining, that is 8 millisecond is being remaining. Only 2 milliseconds are being over, 8 millisecond is being remaining here. So P1 executes for 10 and next P2 completed its execution, P3 also completed and P4 also completed. Remaining is P5. So P5 enters and it works for another 2 milliseconds. So it will be 12. Next, after that, P1 is going to be entered. Next, it is going to work for 2 milliseconds. That is 14. Again, it jumps to P5. It works for only 1 millisecond because only 1 millisecond is being remaining. So it is 15. Next it jumps to P1. So P1 complete its execution, whole execution up to 19. Okay. Why it is 19 means because there is no pending process. So the P1 is going to occupy the remaining execution time in the case of your processor. So it is going to complete all its execution, or otherwise we can put 2 milliseconds 17, again P1 19. Okay, we are going to execute like this also. Okay, next we are going to calculate the average turnaround time. Before going to calculate the average turnaround time, we must calculate the CT, that is completion time of the process. P1, what is the completion time? What is the last time it has been completed? The completion time of process P1. The completion time of process P1. What is the completion of process P1? P1 completed its execution in 19th millisecond. So 19. Even though we will be having more number of pre-emissions here, P1 completed its whole entire execution at the millisecond 19. So CT, that is completion time of P1 is 19. P2 is 3. It completed its execution in 3/3 millisecond. Next P3 is 5. P3 is 5. P4 is 6. And P5. P5 execution is 15. Okay, next we are going to calculate the average turnaround time. Formula is CT minus AT, that is completion time minus arrival time. We are going to have the calculation CT minus AT, arrival time 0. For the first process we will be getting 19, and the second process completion time minus arrival time we will be getting 2, and for the third process it is been 5, it is 2 arrival time, so we will be getting 3, and for the next process it will be 6 and it is 1, we will be getting 5, and for the last process it is 15, it is 2 arrival time, so it is 13 divided by 5 equal to 8.4 millisecond. Next we are going to calculate the average waiting time. Formula is turnaround time minus bus time. So this is the turnaround time of process P1 minus this bus time. So we are getting 9. For the next process is 1, and for the third process is also 1, and for the fourth process is 4. That is 5 minus, that is TT minus BT. 5 minus 1, that is 4, plus 13 minus 5, that is 8, divided by 5 equal to 4.6 millisecond. Okay, this is the average turnaround time and waiting time and completion time for RR, that is round robin pre-emittive, for this problem. So you found out FCFS, that is fully non-pre-emittive, and RR, that is fully pre-emittive.